The moment fans refreshed the Circle chart numbers and saw Jin's name climbing past a historic threshold, it felt like another chapter of K-pop history had quietly been written. With his cumulative solo album sales officially surpassing 3 million copies, the BTS vocalist has earned the rare title of a triple-million seller soloist, placing him among an exceptionally small group of artists whose physical sales power remains virtually unmatched in today's streaming-dominated industry. The achievement reflects not just the success of one release, but the sustained impact of every solo project Jin has unveiled since stepping into the spotlight on his own. Each album rollout was met with massive anticipation, rapid sellouts, and long pre-order periods that signaled how deeply his music resonated with fans around the world. As the numbers continued to stack up on Circle Chart, it became increasingly clear that this was not a one-time spike driven by curiosity, but a steady and growing demand for Jin as an independent artist. Industry observers have long noted how difficult it is for soloists, especially those branching out from globally dominant groups, to maintain blockbuster physical sales across multiple releases. Jin's milestone therefore carries extra weight, reinforcing his position as a rare case where group legacy and solo identity coexist in powerful harmony. His releases have consistently blended emotional storytelling, warm vocal tones, and polished production, creating albums that fans return to long after the initial promotions fade. That loyalty has now translated into one of the most prestigious commercial markers in Korean pop music. Social media platforms erupted almost instantly after the news spread, with hashtags celebrating the milestone trending across multiple regions. Fans shared photos of their album collections, replayed favorite tracks, and posted messages praising Jin's artistic growth, while international media outlets began highlighting how few soloists in the industry have ever crossed the 3 million mark. For many, the moment felt symbolic, a reward for years of steady support, and for Jin's own persistence in carving out a distinctive musical path. The timing of the achievement also adds to the narrative surrounding his post-group activities, as BTS members continue to explore individual careers while maintaining their collective identity. Jin's record-breaking sales offer a glimpse into how formidable the group's global reach remains, even when its members stand alone, and how that reach can evolve into new forms of success. Rather than relying solely on his reputation, Jin has used each release to expand his musical palette and strengthen his connection with listeners, a strategy that has clearly paid off. Crossing 3 million cumulative sales is more than a statistic. It is a declaration of longevity in an industry known for rapid shifts in trends and fierce competition. For Jin, the triple-million seller soloist title cements his status not only as a beloved BTS member, but as a powerhouse in his own right, capable of commanding massive attention with every project he touches. As fans now look ahead to whatever music comes next, one thing feels certain: this milestone will be remembered as a defining moment in Jin's solo journey, and possibly just the beginning of an even bigger chapter yet to unfold. As the celebration continues, analysts have begun to look more closely at what fueled Jin's remarkable climb to the 3 million mark. Strong first-week sales were only part of the story. His albums showed unusual longevity on charts, continuing to move copies months after release as new listeners discovered his work and longtime fans returned for additional versions and reprints. International distribution also played a crucial role, with shipments reported across Asia, North America, Europe, and Latin America, regions where BTS has long enjoyed enormous influence, but where Jin's solo identity has now proven equally compelling. Music insiders point to the careful pacing of his releases and the clear artistic direction behind them as another factor in his success. Rather than rushing projects, Jin has taken time to craft cohesive albums that feel personal yet broadly relatable, often centered on themes of growth, reflection, and resilience. Those concepts, paired with his recognizable vocal color, helped create records that functioned not only as collectibles, but as emotional touchstones for fans navigating their own life transitions. The milestone is expected to reshape industry conversations around physical album power in the modern era. At a time when digital streams dominate metrics worldwide, selling millions of physical copies remains one of the clearest indicators of a deeply engaged fanbase. Jin's achievement has already sparked comparisons with legendary solo acts of previous generations, and some commentators suggest it could encourage labels to invest more aggressively in high-concept solo rollouts for established group members. Meanwhile, fan communities have turned the moment into a global celebration, organizing streaming parties, charity drives, and anniversary projects to honor the record. Longtime supporters have framed the accomplishment as a shared victory, recalling earlier solo releases that laid the groundwork for today's numbers, and highlighting how steadily Jin's influence has expanded over the years. For newer fans, the achievement serves as a dramatic introduction to his catalog, prompting renewed interest in earlier albums that continue to contribute to his cumulative total. As speculation builds about his next musical move, expectations have inevitably risen. A triple million seller title brings with it a new level of scrutiny, but it also grants Jin greater creative leverage, positioning him to experiment with sounds, collaborators, and concepts that could push his artistry even further. Whether he chooses to lean into emotional ballads, explore alternative pop textures, or surprise listeners with entirely new directions, the industry will be watching closely. In the broader story of BTS's evolving legacy, Jin's record-setting sales add another layer to the group's unparalleled impact. Each member's solo achievements continue to reinforce the idea that their global phenomenon was never dependent on a single formula, but on individual talents capable of thriving on their own terms. For Jin, surpassing 3 million copies on Circle Chart is not just a celebratory headline, it is a statement of endurance, relevance, and artistic confidence in an ever-shifting musical landscape. Looking ahead, the ripple effects of Jin's achievement are likely to extend far beyond one chart update. Korean entertainment outlets are already framing the milestone as a benchmark for future solo debuts and comebacks, while international publications have begun to revisit the arc of his career, tracing how a vocalist, once known primarily for his role within a global supergroup, has steadily built a solo narrative powerful enough to stand on its own. The story has become less about transition and more about transformation, about an artist redefining what long-term success can look like in the post-group era. Executives and producers familiar with large-scale album campaigns have also noted how Jin's projects manage to balance intimacy with spectacle. Lavish packaging, multiple versions, and carefully curated visual concepts helped elevate each release into an event, while behind-the-scenes documentaries and live performances reinforced the personal connection he cultivated with listeners. That blend of scale and sincerity has become one of the defining features of his solo era, and now, with 3 million copies sold, it is being studied as a model others may attempt to follow. Fans, meanwhile, continue to dissect every detail surrounding the numbers, sharing archived sales data, past interviews, and old performance clips that feel newly significant in light of the record. What once seemed like isolated milestones now read as stepping stones toward this cumulative triumph. Many have pointed out how Jin's steady climb contrasts with the industry's usual boom and bust cycles, suggesting that his trajectory is built more on consistency and trust than on short-lived hype. There is also a symbolic layer to the timing of the accomplishment. As BTS's individual chapters unfold in parallel, Jin's sales feed adds to a growing narrative of resilience and renewal within the group's broader story. Rather than fragmenting attention, these solo achievements appear to be multiplying it, drawing in new audiences while keeping longtime supporters deeply engaged. Jin's triple million seller status, in this sense, becomes part of a larger mosaic that continues to redefine how global fandom operates in the modern music business. Ultimately, the milestone invites a bigger question about what comes next, not just for Jin, but for the standards he has helped raise. With physical sales at a level that rivals some of the most dominant acts in recent memory, his future releases will inevitably be measured against this historic high. Yet, for many observers, the more compelling takeaway is not the pressure of expectation, but the proof of longevity. Crossing 3 million copies is the kind of achievement that signals staying power, the mark of an artist whose presence is woven into the fabric of the industry rather than tied to a single moment. As the headlines continue to circulate and fans keep celebrating across time zones, Jin's name now sits firmly beside one of the most exclusive commercial titles in K-pop. The triple-million-seller Soloist label is likely to follow him into every future comeback announcement and chart update, serving as both a badge of honor and a reminder of how far his solo journey has already come and how much further it may still go. Beyond the accolades and celebratory headlines, the milestone has also sparked renewed discussion about Jin's artistic identity and the quiet confidence with which he has navigated his solo era. Critics who once speculated about how BTS members would differentiate themselves have increasingly pointed to Jin as an example of how a carefully defined musical voice can cut through the noise of a hyper-competitive market. His ability to blend heartfelt lyricism with mainstream appeal has allowed him to reach casual listeners while still offering depth that longtime fans treasure, a balance that now seems central to his commercial endurance. Several commentators have noted that Jin's public image, warm, reflective, and grounded, has become inseparable from the tone of his releases. Interviews and stage speeches over the years have revealed an artist acutely aware of the expectations placed upon him, yet determined to evolve at his own pace. That sense of authenticity has translated into a fan base willing to follow each new chapter, turning album releases into cultural moments rather than fleeting promotional cycles. The record also arrives at a time when the global K-pop industry is undergoing rapid change, with touring patterns shifting, physical album strategies being reimagined, and new markets opening at unprecedented speed. Jin's 3 million copy benchmark is therefore being read not only as a personal triumph, but as a signal that well-established artists can still generate blockbuster results even as consumption habits evolve. For labels and emergent performers alike, it underscores the continuing power of narrative, identity, and long-term fan engagement in sustaining success. As conversations ripple outward, some observers have begun speculating about how this achievement could influence Jin's future collaborations or international ventures. A commercial position this strong opens doors to cross-genre projects, high-profile producers, and potential global partnerships that might further expand his reach. Whether he chooses to pursue such opportunities immediately or remain focused on the intimate storytelling that has defined much of his solo catalog, the foundation built by 3 million sold copies offers unprecedented creative freedom. For fans, however, the moment remains deeply emotional rather than purely strategic. Many have framed the milestone as validation of years spent supporting his music, attending concerts, and collecting albums that now collectively form part of K-pop history. The celebratory posts flooding online spaces read less like victory laps and more like communal reflections on growth, both Jin's and their own, over the course of his journey. With each new update to Circle Chart, the numbers will inevitably continue to rise, but the symbolism of crossing that threshold is unlikely to fade. Jin's triple-million seller status now stands as a defining chapter in his career, one that encapsulates persistence, evolution, and the rare ability to turn individual artistry into a phenomenon measured in millions. As the industry watches and fans wait for his next move, this milestone serves not as a conclusion, but as a powerful reminder that his solo story is still very much in the making.